All right. Thanks everybody who's attended. Really appreciate it. We're just screen sharing here for a second so you can see both Alex and I. Looking forward to getting into this one. We've done Alex and I had a few conversations preparing this, so we're diving into voice analytics for protective compliance, but also kind of Luware's recording story. So what they offer, where it fits, the multi-tenant, the single tenant. We're going to get into all the detail. Before we do, Alex, just want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure thing. So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Alex. I'm the executive VP for Luware Recording. So I'm overseeing our compliance recording business, which is a big part of our business next to our contact center. I'm quite excited to discuss about voice analytics for proactive compliance today with Tom.
Are you ready for all the questions, Alex?
Oh well, let's see.
Cool. So I know you've prepared a deck. Do you want to share and we can talk some things through, and we're going to get into a bit of a demo as well, aren't we?
Sure. Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to bore people to death with slideware, so it's just a couple bits. So, second.
Yeah, I'm going to push you to get to the demo.
Right. Guys should be able to see my screen now. Yeah. So welcome to our webinar. Before we start, or as an intro, I would just like to give a bit of an overview about what Luware Recording is for the ones who haven't heard. Couple of facts about it, what we're doing, and why this is quite exciting actually. So yeah, with Luware Recording, we're offering a fully managed SaaS compliance recording solution for multiple platforms. So it's kind of a single pane of glass opportunity for customers to put their compliance recording into the cloud and record multiple platforms like Teams, Zoom, different trader voice platforms, things like that.
The multi-platforms are an important one, isn't it? Because I think externally, I think of Luware, I think of Teams, like with all the Teams heritage, but you can absolutely support multi-platform on this as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's our big aim to give the customer an opportunity to use one single platform to record their different telephony solutions, because traditionally in the past that you've got like dotted around different recording solutions doing different things, and with this centralizing everything in the cloud and having one single solution to retrieve, playback, analyze your calls, and basically centralize your compliance in one single application. That's our aim. And yeah, the solution is based on Verint Financial Compliance. So that's the software running in the background. Verint Financial Compliance being fully Microsoft 365 certified. It's on the certified list. We're also currently working on having our hosted version of it certified. So Luware Recording is currently in the certification process, and we hope that we are through that by January.
Yeah, so that's an important thing, isn't it? So you're already built on Verint, which is already been certified. So you're running a certified solution, but you're actually putting your own approach to that through the certification as well, your infrastructure, your end-to-end. So
exactly, that's our overlay, our service wrap around it. Right. Yeah. So we've got a team of over 20 very highly skilled compliance professionals running the platform in the background, consulting customers, onboarding customers, because that's the very important part around the whole compliance story, because obviously being compliant does not just mean just recording your calls, right? You need to make sure that your users are onboarded correctly, your life cycles are managed, you make sure that the retentions are correct, and so on and so forth. And yeah, we've got skilled professionals in the background who've been working in the compliance space for many years, making sure that our customers get the setup right and help them on the journey to the cloud.
Awesome. And multi-tenant and private tenant, talk us through that, because most solutions these days in the cloud are just multi-tenant, like you are running on somebody's infrastructure. You guys have two solutions here.
Exactly. So we're offering this in two flavors. So we've got the multi-tenant offering, where basically it's running on one backend, but the data is logically segregated. It's from a price point of view, it's a very interesting solution because customers, even smaller customers, can easily adopt it, can get on it, and be compliant in a very short period of time. Usually we've got like onboarding times of like a day or two, and customers are up and running, which is commercially quite attractive solution, and we're offering this out of the Azure data centers in Switzerland and the EU. So customers can choose in which hosting location they'll be onboarded, and they basically can get the functionality quick and easy. And then we've got the private tenant solution, which is basically individual for customers who have advanced data segregation needs or need to deploy in different regions, for example. Right, so with a private tenant, the customer chooses in which location their solution is deployed, and it's a completely segregated system they get. Still the same SaaS experience, it's fully managed. We take care of everything in the background, but the customer gets a separate pod, which is completely segregated from everything else.
And is it fair to say that multi-tenant is typically like smaller organizations, smaller seat count, like Verint's quite a big product, so I guess this gives a way for customers with smaller seat count to get into the Verint game so without taking the overhead of, I mean, deploying your own would be a huge effort, for example.
Absolutely. So for the multi-tenant, we can start from a seat count of 10 users. I'd say literally. Wow. So if you have
that's great. So you get that level of Verint quality, but with that kind of seat count, which is really exciting. And am I thinking right that multi-tenant, I guess, is a lot faster, like you're running that infrastructure? What's the kind of lead time between, obviously there's some kind of pre-sales conversation, I've got my 20 users, are we talking weeks and months, days and weeks, days?
Usually we're talking there's a few prerequisites the customer has to fulfill, in granting some consent in Azure and providing us with a storage target. If those preconditions are fulfilled, then we usually talk about lead time of a week to get customers live on the multi-tenant solution.
Amazing. And I can still do multi-platform or multi-tenant, so I can still mix my Zoom and my Teams and my Trader voice on multi-tenant.
So
private.
For the time being, we on the multi-tenant we support Teams and Zoom. We're looking to add additional platforms going forward. There's just some work in the background going on together with Verint to make sure that also for other data models, the data segregation, everything works well in the multi-tenant environment. And if you have got like bigger trader voice platforms and things like that, like BT/IP trade or IPC, then on the private tenant we can integrate those platforms.
Makes sense. So what would be the business requirements or customer demands that make them move towards private tenants?
If you go from a seat count that's above 600-700, right, then it also becomes commercially quite interesting.
Right.
If there's specific data segregation needs, right, or specific regional data needs that say, okay, this can only be recorded in specific regions, or if there are advanced integration needs, so because the private tenant also offers full API access to the system, and also the full breadth of integrations like a trader voice and these kind of things that can be integrated. And obviously, if we're talking about larger multinational financial institutions, for example, the private tenant can be deployed, for example, across multiple jurisdictions as well. So if you have, for example, if you've got recording needs for different regions like EMEA, US, APAC, we can deploy a system that's spread across those regions and then therefore also fulfills those data segregation needs and local local compliance requirements. Did I just lose you? Zoe, I think we lost Tom.
We have lost Tom. Okay, I'll call him back in. No worries. You carry on with
right,
the next slide,
carry
and
on.
I'll get him back.
I'm just checking. You can still see my screen share, right?
We can. All good.
Oh, good. All right. Okay. Now I'll carry on with a bit of a monologue. Yeah. So we talked about a bit about deployment models, about the multi-tenant and private tenant. Quick overview about how the integration works, or how Luware Recording interacts with, especially with Microsoft Teams. So we have Luware Recording deployed in Azure. It's all Azure based. If a customer consumes Luware Recording, no matter if it's a private tenant or a multi-tenant, it's all managed by Luware in Luware's own Azure tenancy, where we host the recording bots, the recording portal for playback analytics and these kind of things in the background based on the variant recording. And also another topic which we'll come to shortly, the integration with intelligent voice for speech analytics, which gives us advanced analytics capabilities to fulfill proactive compliance needs, which will it's quite an exciting topic, which we'll dive into in a moment. Oh, there's Tom.
Sorry about that. I lost my teams there.
It's handy when that happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'll just skipped over to the next topic regarding like the integration and how the architecture looks like from a high level. As we have our Luware Recording environment with the recording bots, web portal, and the variant and intelligent voice running all in Luware's Azure cloud, a fully managed service. And then the next part would be what the customer can or has to bring. Right, from a customer perspective, one thing which really resonates well with customers in the financial industry, especially, is that they can bring their own storage.
Yeah, I think that's a really big deal, isn't it? Even on the multi-tenant, being able to bring your own storage, which again, in other multi-tenant solutions, that's not always the case. The customer doing the vendor doing your compliance would store the recordings, but you can choose to bring your own target. Is that right?
Exactly, yes. So you bring your own Azure Blob storage. You choose the resiliency model. You choose the configuration, whether it's immutable blob or different storage tiers, etc. You provide us with the integration. We build a private network link, so it's all secured, obviously, between the two systems. And then all the data, all the recordings themselves are stored within the customer's own tenancy.
Yeah. So while you as a service provider will be storing, obviously, the variant solution, your solution will have details about the calls, the actual.
Yes, we have got the metadata in the background.
Yeah.
Which we need for search and retrieval.
Makes sense.
But the actual recordings reside within the customer tenancy, which also makes things like data extractions and other things easier. Yeah. So yeah, that again doesn't matter whether it's a private tenant or a multi-tenant, works the same way. So that's the things the customer needs to provide, and we integrate with the customer's Azure Active Directory, obviously, for authentication and user provisioning, which is usually done via AD syncs. So you provide us with Active Directory groups which contain the users to be recorded, and they will be automatically synced into the system. And obviously do multi-factor authentication.
Could I use different storage for different subsets of users? So I want my German users to have storage in Germany and my French users to have storage in France. Can I do that?
Absolutely, yes. So we can, based on, there's not really a limit to the complexity we could build, right? But you can base it on your jurisdiction. You can base it on business units. You might have data segregation needs between different business units, right? If you have if you do different types of business, yeah, that's totally flexible.
Yeah,
In terms
that's
of the
good. That's
data
good detail
management
to
policies.
understand. Quite often, particularly when you're on a journey to teams, your recording requirements might start off quite simple, like we're just doing this country for now, so that's easy enough. Let's get it done. But thinking about what does your architecture look like as you expand out? Have you got areas where you want distinct storage, or you want storage to be under the control of different subsidiaries, or it's franchise model, all those models that comes up to you fast usually, and it's rare. I think Alex, you'll know better than me, so keep me honest, but like with the customers I'm working with, anybody that needs compliance tends to be at that more complex end of the scale. If they're then multinational or they have subsidiaries, there's always going to be different requirements.
Yeah, and that's also where our compliance professionals come in, obviously, with, to consult the customer, because we see this with every larger financial institution we work. There's quite a complex set of requirements when it comes to data retention and storage locations and things like that. And yeah, our people are happy to consult in that case and guide the customer with their storage configuration and things like that.
Great.
Right. Cool. And I like to give a quick overview about the second main topic we're talking about today, which is intelligent voice and speech analytics, which is an exciting new addition we have on our platform. So Verint has partnered with Intelligent Voice, which is an AI-based speech analytics solution, which is specializing in finance and banking. What does that mean? They've got specific language models that are tuned to, for example, trader speech, right, which is a very specific type of language, I would say. So sometimes, if you listen to a trader call, 50% of the things you go like, "What is this about?"
I was going to say, so beyond the language, it's like a whole different language, isn't it? Of, it's terminology and acronyms.
Yeah, and just basically just throwing acronyms at each other, and you go like, "Okay, this is." And yeah, that's so Intelligent Voice has specific language models which are tuned to that, and which are optimized for that. They're capable of analyzing over 30 languages. We can do language switching, for example. Say, prime example here in Switzerland, a call might start in German, might switch to French, maybe with some Italian peppered in on top. And with the automatic language detection, which we have with Intelligent Voice, it will automatically detect the language switch and can then transcribe in a different language, which is very helpful. Yeah, Intelligent Voice brings over 12 years experience of delivering speech analytics for the financial service industry. So they've got quite a wealth of knowledge behind there, what they're doing. They've got some unique capabilities that provide additional value. So we'll see in the next slides some really exciting stuff. Also some stuff that will come with large language models, with bot-based things we can do in terms of speech analytics and like proactive compliance. Right, there's quite some interesting stuff in the pipe as well.
It's really interesting that, I mean, obviously Verint huge in this space. Like they've decided to build a specific model around the vertical, and that seems to be the way a lot of this AI conversation is going. Is you're not going to have, or certainly for the foreseeable, like a general single AI vendor that's going to be best in class for everything, because languages are different, terminology is different, accents different, all that stuff. So this is a real focus on this particular use case.
Yeah, and we see obviously there's the solutions who work on like general language models, right? But you might get a good transcription accuracy, but the analytics of the data in the background, which you get with Intelligent Voice and the specifically tuned models, is way more accurate, and you get way more value out of your data you have. And then you've got things like behavioral analytics, emotion recognition, and things like that on top, which then brings your data to life.
So when we get into demo, I'd love to see what the power of this is. But a question that comes up immediately is, like, obviously AI, very exciting, lots of potential improvements, but where's the data get processed, who gets access to it, where's it going, like what are the answers there, because that's a key thing.
Yeah, that's
when we're talking
that's the
about
question everyone asks you first, like where's my data going?
yeah.
Yeah, and that's another exciting aspect of this whole thing, because with intelligent voice, all of the speech analytics is running within the Luware Recording tenancy. So if you've got a private tenant with us, the intelligent voice engine will run in your private tenant and only process your own data. It will not leave our cloud environment. So it will not go to some public language model. It will not be transversing the internet, whatever. It will stay within the environment. So if you
even for the AI processing, the model is being run on resources in that tenant. It's not going out, because most solutions, that is what's happening, is it gets transcribed, it gets thrown out to a LLM which somebody buys as a service. They pull the insights and then that gets pushed back into the database. But this is different.
This is all run within our environment. So it's another hosting or another SaaS service we provide together with intelligent voice. It's all being processed within the customer's tenancy, which gives that additional peace of mind that it doesn't leave the environment that the customer also scrutinizes, right? Every if we onboard a new financial institution customer, we usually spend quite a lot of time of answering security questionnaires and implementing controls to make sure the data is secure and adhering to the customer requirements, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that, so A saves the customer to assess yet another provider, because it's all staying within the same environment, and also gives that peace of mind of, okay, yeah, it's safe and secure. We are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, ISO 27001. So yeah, we're doing a lot in the area of data security and information security for our customer data, because we're dealing with compliance data after all. So
Alex, we talked about what intelligent voice is at a high level, but like what's the practical value here? Like I'm guessing there's some kind of additional cost here, I presume a cost per user. Where would the value be for me as a customer?
So it's a cost per user per month, which comes at a flat rate price. So there's no hidden, or there's no usage-based cost, which you sometimes have as a transcription per minute cost or something like that. We offer it as a flat price per user per month, which has a quite high amount of hours of transcription included, which is a fair use model. So you get 100 hours per user per month. But if you have 50 users, whatever, that's 5,000 hours cumulative. So
so it's a bucket you can burn down. It's not a per user limit.
Exactly. Right. And that's it's quite an attractive business model for that. And when we look at the benefits out of it, of course, you get your transcription, which gives you the possibility to do keyword searches, to do topic extraction. You get sentiment analysis. So that's something that might also be interesting. For example, if you work in the contact center space, to see, okay, are my agents friendly? Is there certain agents who might have very low sentiment scores, right?
Require additional coaching.
Yeah, might be, right? So everyone has a bad day every now and then, but there's trends evolving. So those are all insights we can gain, very valuable stuff we can take out of the data we have. And I think for me the biggest advantage of it is that you get a holistic oversight of it all, right? And you actually, because if you look at a traditional compliance case, right? So you as compliance officer, you have to, you've got a subject of interest, you need to review their calls, right? You might only be able to play back a very small amount of calls of theirs, and pick out random examples, because you will never be able to playback hundreds hours
yeah,
of calls.
yeah,
right?
unless you're going to put one compliance person per employee and have them
Yes.
monitor every single call. Seems a bit non-scalable to me.
Exactly, and yeah, so with the voice analytics piece, you're able to really search through those calls to find certain phrases that might be of interest, and so on. So it gives you way more efficiency and also reduced cost in your in the compliance department, right? And also, yeah, so what do you see on the screen as well, the hybrid work enablement. So obviously now we're used to work from home, we're used to remote work, due to the fact that we can capture all modalities. From a Teams call, for example, you can capture the video, the voice, and the chat, right? And then analyze the voice part and the chat part from an AI perspective, so that gives us also more peace of mind that we're not missing.
Do you think we're on a countdown, Alex, to video being a compliance standard? It feels like individuals are like interpreting whether it's needed or not at the moment. I feel like at some point that's going to be important, because obviously you've got the potential of
there is things going on in the background, actually, quite some exciting stuff with video analytics as well. Not yet anything that's I could put a timeline on, but there is some quite cool stuff going on. I think compute needs to get a bit cheaper for that.
yeah, it's a significant. But at the moment you can capture it, so you would look at the audio and then you could jump into the video if you wanted to interrogate a particular call. Yes. Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think showed enough slides. Maybe we should let's go into a bit of a live demo and see how this thing looks in practice. Right. Yeah. So you should see my my Luware Recording variant interface. Yeah. So what we're looking at here is just a simple speech analytics dashboard. What I've got here now is, like, for example, a topics trend. Right. So basically, what we do for all of the calls we record, we do topic extraction, which means, so, like, what are the topics that are discussed most, which could be of interest. This is our demo system here, so it's also where our guys run their demos for our contact center. So, for example, services is a quite high topic in there because it's something we talk about a lot. Or contact center or dashboards, right? Because this is it's where all of our demo calls happen. We see sentiment analysis per user, so that's obviously also for the contact center space quite interesting. So who's more positive, who's more negative, who's more neutral. So you see here the scores like veering towards the positive or negative for their topics. For example, if you want to jump into a topic like service, we get a conversation search where we see all of those, all of the conversations for a certain time frame that include that topic. We see the sentiment gradients here, which are extracted. So that means, so for each speaker in the conversation, we see whether the sentiment declined,
that's
increased.
handy, to get a real a duration of the call. That's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So how did the call go? Was it more on the neutral side, or did it increase over time? Some very interesting insights we get there. And when we go, like, into the playback of a call, then we see, so our playback's going, and we see our transcript here at the bottom, right? And if I go along, see here, it's going through, it's automatically scrolling through the transcript as I play it back, so I see exactly where I am.
Yeah, nice.
And also here, the sentiment analysis, so the gray ones are neutral, the red ones are negative sentiments, the green ones are positive sentiments. And we see here on the left-hand side, we see the topic extraction. So the topics we're talking about the most, as I said here, it's a demo call, so we talk a lot about contact center services, and I can actually jump to those to the points in the call where those topics were discussed, and all of that information here A from the transcript, B from the topics, I can use in searches and surveillance projects. And I could, for example, automatically label all of the calls where a certain keyword was used or a certain topic was discussed, right? And then extract those calls and analyze them further.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that's a potential huge time saving, isn't it, over the more traditional method of trying to find insights into a particular scenario.
Yeah, that makes it way easier and very easy to find calls which are actually of interest, right? And not just picking through and finding the needle in the haystack, but actually going in and do a structured search and work on conversations that are actually interesting. I think that makes the compliance officers' life way easier.
Yeah,
way more efficient. Yeah, so we can do automatic labeling based on that, which then means we can do further data processing of it. So, for example, export all of the calls that are of a certain topic, or bring them up to a compliance officer for review. All these kind of things we can then do, or put them under legal hold, right? So say, okay, if a certain topic was discussed in there, we're automatically putting them under hold so they can't be deleted, they can be reviewed, all of these kind of things. So there's a lot of automagic that can be done in the background based on these kind of things.
No, good to see it.
And then there's actually quite some exciting stuff coming up. So unfortunately only next year, but next year is quite close now.
Well, so we're almost in next year effectively, yeah. So it's,
yeah. So what's to come? So what we will get next year is generative AI communication analytics, which basically allow to build bots to analyze call data, to analyze, for example, trade reconstruction will be one thing which is being worked on. You can trade data extraction. So basically you can build a model that will analyze, okay, this was a trade, this was the outcome of the trade. You see the different, you see what was negotiated, what was the outcome, things like that. So, and it will actually come with predefined models, right? So you will have predefined prompts, predefined dialogues that will analyze the call and you can basically, as soon as you have it, you'll be able to use it proactively without having to build your own prompts, without having to do these things. You can fine tune them.
I was going to ask, yeah, that seems like that seems amazing, because there's two elements to this, isn't it? There's how good the model and LLM is, and then there's driving value out of it, and knowing how to prompt is efficiently is a skill. And then when you're dealing with a use case like a trade, there's probably some language you want in the prompt, and I wouldn't necessarily know what that was to be like, find me the end-to-end conversation over multiple calls here. That's really interesting.
And here we have got the
time saving here just being through the roof if this works, as well as it could, to be like, even if it got you in the vicinity of like, these are the series of calls to then go through by hand, that would be amazing.
I mean, I'm quite gutted that I can't demo it yet, because I'm quite excited about this.
Well, we'll have to do a part 2 in 2024.
Oh, absolutely,
that feels like a great demo.
Yeah, and there will be quite some exciting updates to the user interface, where we'll have our own like a GUI designer for prompt engineering, which will be quite easy. So if you have your own AI specialists in house, you could build your own prompts, but we could also get the experts at Intelligent Voice to support and help us build prompts and models for the data analysis.
And will these be accessible to multi-tenant and private tenant customers?
Yes.
So again, amazing levels of power in a multi-tenant scenario.
Absolutely, yeah. And the good thing is, you can start out now with having the transcription, because that's the data we need, right? As soon as we have the transcribed data, then we can run those models also for calls that happen.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, like the people that are on Luware Recording now or are thinking about moving, when this comes in 2024, they inherit the power, but they inherit the power over the previous recordings because you've got all the data at that point. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's quite some cool use cases we can do with that. As I said before, trade data extraction, reconstructing trades, confirming trades, things like that. In wealth management, analyze around products and services, how are products used, how do we sell, all these kind of things, understanding the reasons for contract, and also then creating meeting minutes, meeting summaries that actually make sense and that work for us, because there is obviously general models out there that create your meeting minutes, but they might not.
Again, if you're in a specialist vertical and you've got specialist language, and you can train it on the terminology of what a particular type of document means, or a particular trade execution means, or whatever it may be.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff to come. So stay tuned for I think the next version of this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the demo, Alex. Thanks for the overview. For those that are watching, if you have any questions, feel free to ping them in. They're being fed into us. We've actually had a few as we've been talking through, Alex. So if it's right with you, I'll jump into some of them.
Sure.
One, I think a fairly basic one was does this deal with hybrid environments? So like I've got users working in the office, I've got users working at home, I've got turret users, I've got front office, I've got back office. Like, does it cover all the bases there?
Yeah, that's exactly where it's kind of shows its strength. Okay, because it's not an on-prem solution. It's based in the cloud, so that tailors way more to things like Teams, right? Because users are using Teams to work from wherever basically now.
Yeah, and on whatever device as well. They might be on
whatever device,
their mobile device, their iPad. Yeah.
It doesn't matter the device, doesn't matter the modality, because obviously the video calls is now the standard for meetings, right? We can capture all of that regardless from the device or the location the user is working from. So that caters absolutely to hybrid working environments, which are also becoming more and more the standard now.
Awesome. We got one on the Gen AI stuff. It said you mentioned that's a 2024 update. Will existing Luware Recording customers have access to that? I think we answered that, but that's right?
Yeah, so there will be a license for it. Right, there will be a separate license for the Gen AI stuff. The license model is not quite finished yet, but as soon as we have that, we'll add that to our price book. And then, as I said before, all of the transcripts you already have, all of the data you already have, you can then analyze. So you basically lost nothing. So it's not like because you don't have it yet, doesn't mean you can't apply it to calls you've already recorded.
Awesome. And the first intelligent voice stuff we showed, that's a per user model, but the Gen AI will be different, or it'll be per user, or do we have to wait to 2024 to know what the model is?
Yeah, we'll have to wait until 2024. Things like still some cooks in the kitchen working on that. So
awesome. Another one we got, I think we touched on this, but let's make sure we definitely get this answered. So in what ways does the functionality and deployment method change between multi-tenant SaaS versus private tenant SaaS?
There is some subtle differences in the functionality, right? So with a private tenant, you get, for example, full access to the API, right? To do user provisioning or certain automation tasks, integrations into CRMs, things like that. That access is not there in the multi-tenant. And with a private tenant, you also got more possibilities for platform integrations, like a trader voice, or if you want to bring in mobile carrier capture or things like that. Then we've got the possibility to do that as well with the private tenant. Other than that, from a functionality perspective, they are the same. So there's no. But obviously,
can you move as a customer? Could you start off like you're just doing one country, one site? You want to get something going. Could you start on the multi-tenant and then later move to private? I guess there'd be some kind of
Yeah.
migration. Obviously, it wouldn't be trivial, but they're the same system. Is that
Yeah,
right?
they are the same system. They're the same underlying software. From that point of view, yes, it's absolutely possible to then to say, okay, the first set of users we record on the multi-tenant, and when the customer's big enough or at the stage where a larger amount of users get onboarded, we can then migrate to a private tenant environment and migrate the data in the background as well. Yes.
Great. Cool. Well, I hope everybody's got a lot of value from the session. It's really great to see both what's here now and also what's coming. And it's good to know that if you're coming onto the platform now, you're going to inherit those benefits when they come. And like clearly, there's a lot of investment being made both at Luware on the kind of the platform and the service, but also with Verint and their technologies, and you're getting the best of both, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So, Alex, what would people do if they're interested in this more? What's the kind of next steps here? Obviously, compliance is a non-trivial project, so I'm guessing it's not kind of like a trivial one. But with multi-tenant, can they try the solution out? Like,
Yeah, so
can they test it?
Absolutely. So customers who sign up to our multi-tenant have a 30-day trial period. So if you sign up to it, you can say get set up, you can try it out. If there for any reason you decide it's not for you, then you've got a 30-day period to cancel basically.
Yeah.
So that's quite easy. And as I said, the multi-tenant onboarding is done fairly quickly.
That's fantastic. And could customers, like many customers, have test tenants? I guess they could dip their toe in the water by running the trial against the test tenant and seeing how they feel it.
Yeah, so for that we offer a proof of concept. So we can spin up a proof of concept. They can test out the functionality and then decide going forward.
That's great. I think it's a really good opportunity to see what both Luware and Verint offer and kind of get a feel for it. And even if you're going private tenant potentially as your solution, it's a great way to understand the solution and start off with. Nothing beats getting hands-on. It shows a lot of confidence to offer a free trial as well. I think that's the
absolutely
if you trust in the solution. Awesome. And if people want to find out more or have specific questions, reach out to
I mean, easiest is to scan the QR code on the screen, or just go to our website luware.com and then click on the Luware Recording part. There you can find more details, and also there's a contact form to get in contact with our sales team.
Great. Well, Alex, thanks for sharing with us. Thanks for doing a live demo. That's always good to do. A little bit nerve-wracking at times, but
it's always like, oh, does it work now? No. Does it log me out? No.
Great. And thanks everybody for joining with us. It looks like everybody stuck through the entire call, so really appreciate the attention.
Thanks everyone.
And yeah, QR code if you want to find out more. And I think we'll be coming back in 2024, Alex, for the live AI demo.
Absolutely.
So be ready for that. Brilliant.
Right.
All right. Thanks everybody
everyone for your time.